I can't give you a map that leads exactly where you want to go when it comes to your finances without a couple things. And we need to talk about what you need to create that map today and some of the disclaimers. So here we go. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. And first off, we're kicking off financial literacy this month. April is financial literacy month every year, but this is the first episode in April. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here because you're making an effort to work on your finances to improve. And, it's not easy to work with your money. And so, first, let's just acknowledge you for being here. Let's talk about your money. And when it comes to money, money is not something that's like black and white. Like it's not, there's kind of instruction manuals, but the step-by-step instruction manuals that work elsewhere don't work when it comes to your money. And this is also why so many of the programs that I work with like are built around the support. We'll get to more of that in a minute. But like your money is not one size fits all. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Like, okay, I can't just give you a generic blanket statement and it work for everybody because that's not the way that money functions. Yes, we all have different goals, we have different priorities, we have different experiences, we have different money mindset stories. All of those things factor into what you need to do and what you need to work on and what needs to be prioritized when it comes to your money. It's not like this is the exact step that you need to do. And that drives people crazy because people ask questions and be like, well, it depends. And I like to speak to things from a certain perspective. Hold on. Yeah, let's get to that. Okay. I like to speak to things about a certain perspective. And there was a comment that I got on Instagram. If you're connected with me on Instagram, you saw I put in my stories because it made me laugh. I'm pretty sure they sell it off of one of the ads that I'm running right now. But the video, it was a podcast episode, the Stop Saving for a Rainy Day. We'll link it in the show notes if you want to take a listen to that. But essentially, that video is talking about the fact that we don't need to go hardcore, extreme, saving everything and not enjoying our money. This is actually kind of timely because we're going to talk a lot about impulse spending this month. So make sure you stay tuned. But their comment was like that was something like, I'm not a good coach. I don't remember what else it was. Okay. But essentially, they didn't agree with that perspective. And their assumption was that I wasn't a good coach. Um, and I had a lot of fun with my comment back. It was like, just, asterisk, I'm not the coach for you, clearly. That's great. Love that we know that. Moving on. But the point is, I speak to a lot of those extreme points of view and why they're wrong because of this. What we tell ourselves, especially as women, especially as female entrepreneurs, we're juggling all the things. We have all the things going on, and we end up feeling like there's something wrong with us, like we're behind because we haven't achieved our goals, or we end up feeling guilty over the choices that we've made with our money, maybe investments that didn't pan out, maybe spending, whatever it might be. And those three things self-sabotage us. So if we can avoid that, I know you can make that much more progress. Yeah, you should be saving. There's smart ways to do it. We could talk about that all day long. Yes, we should be paying off debt. There's smart ways to do that. We're going to talk more about that on Thursday, I believe it is. But the problem is when we have to speak in these generic assumptions and these extremes, like you have to do it this way or you're dumb, whatever it might be. That's not true. We need to show ourselves some freaking grace and love when it comes to our money as well. And that's not from a space of, oh, you don't have to take any responsibility, you don't have to do anything. Like we both know you're beating yourself up plenty. I don't need to add to that, okay? So your map for your finances, for where you want to go, is very specific to you and your situation and what you're working on. Yes, there are strategies, there's overall views that we can do. We'll talk about the debt payoff strategies on Thursday. We'll talk a lot about impulse spending the rest of the month. We're doing a whole series on that. But if you're looking for that, okay, let's talk about what you need to do first, okay? So what can you do? What should you be doing? Because I can't give you the specific map here over a podcast episode, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 things that you can do. The first one is being aware. Being aware of what triggers you, what you are avoiding, what you are doing as what emotions, thought processes, whatever, all of those things come up. So maybe you have a rough day with the money and then you go impulse spending. Or maybe you avoid it. You just like go work on other things so you don't have to look at the numbers. Those are all things that we have to start to work on being aware, because the second thing is we can't ignore it. And if we're ignoring it, like it's not going to get any better. We have to work on this and remove it, but it doesn't have to be that overwhelm. And most of the time, that overwhelm comes from the guilt. So the third thing is I need you to stop feeling guilty over the choices that you've already made. There's nothing that you can do in the past to change that. We have to just work on moving forward. The fourth one is taking action, because you have to do something. We have to get moving forward. The 14-day money mastery action plan is the perfect thing. It's like bite-sized steps, one a day for 14 days. It's a calendar. You can start, like it's all set up for you, really simple. That's the perfect way to get started. If you're not in momentum, it's small, little things to help you start moving. That's the hardest thing to do, right? Get into momentum. And then the last thing, when you're aware, when you stop ignoring it, when you're not feeling guilty, when you're taking action, this becomes easier. But finding the root story, the root belief, for a lot of us, it's built in from this feeling of not being enough, not being worthy enough, not being good enough, childhood, whatever you want to call it. That is a major story for a lot of people. That's the story that I sit and deal with. It's a continuing process, so still dealing with it, but working on finding the root cause. And when you can do that, and when you can see it and not hold on to it, not get stuck in it, just see it and acknowledge it and keep going, that's the space that we're looking towards. And you see how, like, I can't just tell you, like, here, go A, B, C, D, and then you're golden. That doesn't work. That's not life. We're dealing with emotions, we're dealing with thoughts, we're dealing with trauma, we're dealing with money. It's already emotional, it's complicated. We can't do like one size map fits all, does not work. So for financial literacy month, this is what I want to do. If you're ready to take action, I want to give you a bonus of additional support, because the support is the thing that's going to make it work. So send me a message on Instagram if you're not on my email list, because I'm going to send out a couple different options to my email list. But send me a message on Instagram if you are not, and we'll chat about what that would look like. Because if you're willing to take action, I want to meet you along the way, give you additional support to make sure that you are able to make it happen, move forward like you need to. So that's what I've got for now. It's not one size fits all. There is a specific map, a specific journey that you're going to create based on your priorities, your values, your money, your life. It's exactly why we called the podcast that. That's it for now. See you over on Instagram, and then next time. If you're struggling with shame and guilt around your finances, whether it's debt, impulse spending, mistakes from the past, or the fact that you still haven't hit your income goal, then it's time for you to work with me. There are different levels of support and price points that you can use on the path to removing that guilt and shame so you can step into your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique to you, and your support should be too. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of my most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what that next step should be. And those links are hanging out in the description of this video as well.